Yeah, what's up? Oh. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Hitting the Field. I'm your host, Dominic Moller. Happy New Year, everybody. 2023, the Jordan year. And today, we're going to be talking and getting reared up for Super Wildcard Weekend with the NFL. And just like Michael Jordan, my favorite player of all time, we're going to be talking about the NBA. So stick around because you're not going to want to miss anything. And main show starts right now.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back, okay? Always locked in, I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000 when you check the stats. Boy, is you ready? You ain't gotta ask.
And just like that, we're back. We're going to be rearing up for Super Wildcard Weekend, but you could see I'm joined by a few other people here at the table. First off, Mason Migliara. How you doing, man? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I'm glad to be here talking some football with you.
Yeah.
And the GOAT.
Yeah, Colts only fan left that maybe,
Painful
left.
season,
Yeah.
honestly, ended quickly as possible, thank God. Let's move on.
Yeah.
4th overall pick.
Grant Wheeler, #1 jersey connoisseur right here. But so right away, we're going to be talking about the playoffs. What's going on with the playoffs? Who are you guys thinking is really going to make a play and forward their season even longer? I mean, there's a lot of surprises, there's a lot of upsets that have been speculated just talking around this whole studio. But first, I'm going to start with you, Mason. Who do you think is going to make it to the Super Bowl from here? And honestly, who do you think is going to win it?
All right. So I definitely have the Eagles and the Bills making it to the Super Bowl this year. I think that both teams are just phenomenal. Obviously, the Bills have a lot going for them right now. They're obviously an outstanding football team, both offensively and defensively, but also everything with DeMar Hamlin. First of all, we all are praying for him to get better. But yeah, I just think that the Bills are going to finally make that leap this year and make it to the Super Bowl. Josh Allen is a big and physical quarterback, and he has plenty of weapons around him like Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, and Dawson Knox. And their defense, even after losing Micah Hyde and Von Miller, they have been a top 5 NFL defense behind Jordan Poyer, Shaq Lawson, and Matt Milano. And as for the Eagles, they start off 8-0. Jalen Hurts has a new best friend in A.J. Brown. They have been running the NFC all year, it seems, and I don't see that stopping in the playoffs. As for the defense, it as well has been one of the best in the league, led by Brandon Graham, Darius Slay, and T.J. Edwards.
So that's interesting that you are saying that the Bills are going to make this big jump, but then still think the Eagles are going to take it.
Yeah.
I'm not an Eagles believer. I still think the Eagles are frauds. But to you, Grant, you have 2 completely different teams as your Super Bowl
And I respect your
predictions.
picks, Mason. Those are good picks. But let's go with the Cincinnati Bengals and the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, Joe Burrow, no matter what it is with the offensive line, he always seems to find a way. And they have some O-linemen banged up. San Francisco has the most complete defense in the league. They have a great run game. It's up there. And Brock Purdy may not have to do much. All he may have to do is game manage. He may not have to actually carry the load. He could be the first rookie in history to win a Super Bowl this year. He could.
Guys, okay, I get where you're coming from, where you're saying they have the most complete defense, but you're also looking at more than who they're going to be playing on the schedule. The 49ers are going to have to get through the NFC East. You got the Vikings and the Eagles, who I think are the 2 top teams of that. Obviously, just judging by their record, they're the 2 top teams. But this is going to surprise you. I want to throw this in there, and I've been telling everybody about it. I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning the NFC.
What?
Listen. It's Tom Brady, okay?
Washed.
Yeah.
No,
Vikings, it's going to be NFC Championship, Vikings against the Buccaneers. Tom Brady pushes them over. The only other third team I would want to win the NFC, I don't want the Vikings winning it. I'm a Bears fan. We suck, but let's move. The 49ers, I would want to see the NFC other, but I still think the Bills are winning this, the whole thing. I think they have a lot behind them. This is more than football for them. But now that talking about the Bills, you know, the AFC Championship is going to be held in a neutral site this year. So
Potentially.
You know, what's the
Potentially,
impact on that?
See, I think it's a huge impact because it's usually obviously played at the home team stadium, so there's going to be a different feel for it, and I think there won't be a true advantage. So it's the first time it's ever happened. So it may not, it's not officially done yet, but chances are it's going to happen. And I think it's going to be a repeat of last year's AFC title game between Kansas City and Cincinnati.
See, Grant, I love how me and Grant are on a vibe right now. We're connecting with this. I mean, it's gonna be Bills and Chiefs. Like, who else?
I think it's gonna be Bills and Chiefs. Now we have no idea where that game would be played.
Exactly. Yeah.
But in the end, I don't think it really matters where it's played. If it is Bills and Chiefs, it doesn't matter where it's gonna be played. The Bills are gonna win that game. Like, I think it's just clear cut. I think they're a better team. They have better defense. That offense, as I said earlier, is outstanding. Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen, he will run through you. Like a quarterback, it's rare that a quarterback can do that. So I don't think the neutral site is that
Plus,
big of a deal.
Kansas City has a liability on defense. They rely on scoring too much from
Yes.
Patrick Mahomes in that offense.
Yeah.
If they get into a game where it's kind of a grind out, where they're not scoring as much, that could be a problem for them.
And that's the thing with Kansas City. We've always seen, you know, they are the most under talked about good team. It's because everybody talks about them every year, but they also always have the same problem. When they get in the playoffs, it's just a shootout. Every game is going to be a shootout. And I think with the Bills, after losing to them 2 straight years, I think it takes them over the edge. They get motivated. They get over
And
that.
I think Buffalo has an essence in them now with Damar Hamlin situation. There's like a spirit in them now.
It's more than football for
That's
them.
what I'm saying. It's
That's
really
why
deep for them.
I think it's
huge.
this year. I think it's their year.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's why they take that leap. It's
Yeah.
time for that to happen. It's been, 3 years in a row now that they've been like Super Bowl or bust almost.
Yeah.
And this year, I
So
feel
I
like
can
now it's
definitely see
Super
that
Bowl or
happening,
bust.
but I still think the Bengals somehow come out of the AFC.
I wouldn't be
Okay.
Joe
You know,
Shiesty.
hey, all I have to say is this. I think the Bills will definitely make it to the AFC Championship. Mason, on your side, you think the Eagles will win. I think that'd be like the ending to almost Avengers Infinity War, where
Yep.
not a good ending. You
Yeah.
know, it would
Yeah.
be this perfect story, and then it falls flat.
So basically, the Eagles are like Thanos.
yeah,
is what
I
is what we're
mean,
saying.
they would have the best record. They would have a better record. You know,
They are.
They have the Stones. So,
All
you're right.
six
but
for now.
let's hope the Bills. I think the Bills are going to win it, and it's going to be Bills Bucks. But you know, we want to talk about more of the underdogs. You know, the teams that aren't getting talked about as much. So now we're gonna talk a little bit about the dark horses of the playoffs. You know, what team is going to surprise us? What team is going to make that run? And you know, just like the Bengals, where no one expected them to make that run, to make it to the Super Bowl. You know, is a team going to make it to the Super Bowl, or are they just going to get it past the round? You know, what is going on with the dark horse teams of this league? And, you know, going right to you, Mason, who is your dark horse team, and what do you see from
All
them?
right, I know I'm going to make Doug very happy talking about this. I got the Chargers as my dark horse team. Although they are playing the Jaguars in the first round, I do like the Jaguars. I would love for them to go further, but I just don't see that happening. Although the Chargers did, Brandon Staley playing Mike Williams and Joey Bosa among the other star players on that team. Both Mike Williams and Joey Bosa did get hurt in the game yesterday, which is completely senseless by Staley as a head coach to be playing them in a meaningless game. But I still think that they are going to do pretty well. They're going to beat the Jaguars, and then what would that put them? That would put them up against the Chiefs. That would put them up against the Chiefs.
It all depends on who wins.
And I can see
kind of
that
scenario.
I can see that game being very competitive.
Yeah.
I mean, the Chiefs are like the big brother to the Chargers, and the Chargers are like, listen, I'm ready. We are ready for him. And Justin Herbert and Austin Eckler, oh my gosh, they're just phenomenal.
I love Justin Herbert. I want to
great.
get a jersey so bad of him. Of course, first I have to get my boy Justin Fields' jersey, and that will never be worn on the show. Grant, right to you. Who is your dark horse team?
So my dark horse team is a team that many people are probably not thinking about. The New York Football Giants. They're locked into that 6th seed. They've been playing well the last couple of weeks. I know they lost yesterday, but they were playing with second and third stringers, and they almost actually won that game. But they're against the Minnesota Viking team, which I think they're going to beat the Vikings. I don't trust Kirk Cousins in the playoffs. I'm sorry. But Daniel Jones has run the way he can run the ball, carry his legs, not always having to throw the ball, extend plays. And Saquon Barkley, we all know how great he is. And that Giant defense is one of the best in the NFL at blitzing. I can see them beating Minnesota. And quite frankly, I think they can beat Philadelphia in the divisional round on the road. You know why? It's so hard to beat a team 3 times in one season. But they will meet their match in the NFC Championship game against San Francisco.
I can see Ray praising you in the studio, but I'm have to give you a little bit of a news flash. There's no way they beat the Vikings. Actually, you know what? It's 4 p.m.
almost did.
Hey, it's 4 p.m.
And they almost in the regular
I know
season,
Cameron.
yeah.
Cameron just gave me a mean mug over there. He just gave me a bad look. But it is 4 p.m. Kirk Cousins. So, crazier things have happened in the whole. I don't even know with Kirk Cousins. He's he's a great quarterback, but
At 1
a
o'clock
great
games.
dude. Yeah, but it's a whole time controversy. So, we'll see what happens. Rear up for Super Wildcard Weekend. And when we come back to Hitting the Field, I'm going to have a few other guests. And just like I said before, Michael Jeffrey Jordan, it's time for some NBA. Hitting the Field, we'll be right back.
I'm Johnny Jackson. We've got Emily Aaron to my right and Maluka Costa to my left.
Hello and welcome to our segment of Hot Ones. I'm here with Noah Kemper and Grant
Wheeler.
Yep, I knew that. Grant Wheeler.
Listen, I'm a Bulls fan, but I just can't ever argue against LeBron. I watched him my whole life.
I've been going back and forth with this debate for a long time. It's got to be Michael Jordan.
Whatever she wanted. I would wake up in a maid costume for Doja Cat.
Brutal.
Jeffrey Laux, no question.
Richie, I would give it to Richie.
It is not Richie. It is not Richie.
No, it's Jeff.
Richie's pronouns are he, they, because he cannot be him.
What?
Oh, wait a second.
I'm gonna have to also agree and say Jeff. He always is spiffy.
It might be Cameron. Cameron's had some good fits.
Out of the women, Norelli always dresses really, really cute.
Oh. That went so awful.
It's basketball.
College football, I think, is the best sport to watch. If you don't like soccer, it's because you suck at it.
I think college football is the best.
Thanks for watching.
Welcome back. As you can see, I'm joined by 2 lovely men right here. I'm joined by Ezra Hines,
Yes, sir.
who I will have to say it was a couple shows ago, I think it was the last show, you made some great World Cup predictions that turned out to be correct most of the way. So I'm going to watch out for his predictions. I'm not going to try to contest him too much.
Tried to tell
it's
you.
the golden boy right here. And then,
A little worse predictions for the World Cup, but whatever.
Cameron
man.
Forcier with his amazing laptop. So getting right into it, we're looking at the award shape up this year. The NBA, there's a lot of crazy things that have been going on, a lot of career nights, high-scoring games, but we're going to be talking about the main awards. We're not going to talk about, team of the year and stuff like that, because the year's not over. So there's a lot to kind of predict so far. So right away, of course, we got to talk about it, guys. Who is your MVP of the year? Cameron, Notebook, I'm going to start with you.
I'm going to say, if it comes down to who I think deserves it versus who I think will win it, I think Jokic is going to deserve it. I think he is Jack preaches all the time. I think he is a advanced stats darling. He is every sort of player efficiency rating, every sort of true shooting percentage, all the advanced stats, the abbreviations they want to come up with out of nowhere. He leads in all of them. But the question is whether voters are going to want to do that for a third year straight. I don't think they will. But I think he's going to, if the Nuggets can maintain a top 2 seed in the West, I think Jokic should have it without a doubt.
And, Ezra, just like on the graphics, it kind of pre-tells it a little bit. You picked Jason Tatum.
I did.
And
He's a Knicks fan saying this, by the way.
I am.
That's crazy. Hey, I'm surprised no one said Luka. I'm kind of hurt. I'm kind of upset. I'm not happy right now.
Well, I didn't pick Luka because his team's not going to finish high enough for him to win MVP. But my MVP so far this year is Jason Tatum. To start, he is just as complete of a package as many other stars in this league. You can see it here as he's locking up Donovan Mitchell to send the game to overtime. He's one of the best closers, and his defense has been elite this season, and it's finally getting noticed. But not only his defense, of course, everybody knows him for his amazing offensive skill sets. Look at him get a bucket through the 76ers defense and one. It was almost just too easy for him. How do you guard a guy that is a 3-level scorer and elite at each level of that? Easy and one through tough contact, right hand on the left side of the rim. It's almost unguardable. And then not only his scoring ability, but his passing ability. As you see, his pass to Al Horford in the corner. He uses his little jab step to open up a lane for a behind-the-back pass. That's just something he's been doing all season, and when you add all of this up, this is the reason why he's going to be my MVP.
And, surprised that no one, speaking of Donovan Mitchell, no one's really talking about Donovan Mitchell. Those Cavaliers are really pushing the East to maybe take the 1 seed.
I mean,
they could.
I did tell you the Cavs were going to make the NBA Finals, and I got laughed at.
Whoa,
but I did. That was my hot take, and I got laughed at. So it's not going to happen. But if it happens, just
I
have receipts.
I got shots fired because I said,
the Jazz are going to be the one. Yeah,
that was.
I think when it comes to MVP,
was that live? I don't think that was a show. That never happened. The Jazz, I don't know what I said about them.
I do.
I definitely do.
I definitely remember it.
Right. But going right into the next one, Rookie of the Year. I got to start with you again first, Cameron. You have probably one of the funnest names in the NBA.
Benedict
Mathurin.
Mathurin.
As your Rookie of the Year. I will say he's a guy that no one has seen. You saw this Pacers team and you thought, okay, they're going for the lottery pick, but they have really picked it up. They played great basketball. So, what really is, though, your justification for why he should be Rookie of the Year?
Over Paolo?
Yeah.
Solely because I don't want to agree with Ezra. I think Mathurin started off really hot. I think that the Pacers are I have them making it out of the play-ins. I feel as if you have that team success while the Magic are fighting to get out of a top 3 pick, if the Magic are not going to pass 25 wins this season and the Pacers are in the play-ins, I do think Paolo's better, but I don't like giving Rookie of the Year to somebody who his team is still bad. Andrew Wiggins won Rookie of the Year, and then we still had the first overall pick next year, and I don't agree with that. I think if you're going to be the best Rookie of the Year, I think you have to have that impact. And Mathurin has been setting Pacers records. Obviously, he started out a lot hotter. He's kind of calmed down a little bit, but he was on fire to start. He tied the record for the least amount of games played with 40 3-pointers made and 80 free throws. He gets it done everywhere, and he's off the bench.
Yeah.
I
mean, Paolo's an obvious pick.
Because Ezra's boring and he works for the Magic. He has to support his guy.
It's because he's going to be an all-star in his rookie season.
Paolo's great. I didn't believe in him either, but he is playing all-star level,
without a doubt, yeah. He leads all rookies in points per game. He's second in field goal percentage in rookies behind Jalen Williams, I believe. He's third in rebounds in all rookies. He's second in assists in all rookies. I mean, what more can I say? He's going to be an all-star in his first season in the league, most likely, and that's the first time that's going to happen since Blake Griffin. Yes, I know the team's record isn't that good, but that's not necessarily toward him. That's more so toward his team just altogether not being good.
Yeah.
Can I butt in real quick? You made fun of me for having my notebook. Ezra, can you please turn your laptop around?
Oh, don't worry. I have a notebook.
I'm not saying
his laptop is not on. He has his notebook like this.
The aesthetic vibe of it, it's like.
You didn't have to call me out like that.
I did.
It's fine. Whatever. I still have the Rookie of the Year.
The Rookie of the Year race seems pretty wrapped up. But I want to go to something a little bit more fun. Who's your most improved?
Ooh. Ezra, you can start with this one.
Yeah, I'm about to say, Ezra, you kind of have a different side of it. Just looking by the stats, I mean.
Yeah, Lauri Markkanen, nobody thought he was going to be a star, let's be honest.
Fair, yeah.
And that's my reasoning for picking him. I know it's a little boring, but at the same time, when you have this guy that is now averaging 25 points per game, he's top 20 in the league, when that is 10 more than last season and 6 more points averaged in his entire career than his career high. And then he's also averaging 8 rebounds, 53% from the field, which I didn't know before this. He is shooting 41% from 3.
He's flirting with the 50-40-90.
Yes, he absolutely is. He's shooting 87% from the free throw, and he's also 5th in the league in total offensive win shares. Literally, the Jazz win games based off of his offense alone, and I think that's the reason I think he should be able to win the most improved player this season.
Well, now you got my boy, and I'm proud of this for you,
I had to
Cameron.
go boring.
Drip God.
I had to go. No,
Shy.
I love Shy. I love the League Fits Instagram by
Yeah.
Slam. I actually know the guy who runs it. I'm
Really?
trying to get him on for an interview. But anyways, yeah, I
Something you learn every day, huh?
something. Yeah, I went with a boring pick.
It's not boring.
It is boring because he's the favorite current betting odds. I think he's gonna get it simply because he's current favorite. He's Shea. He's
All-star starter, most likely.
He should be. If he's not, then he should be. I think if you're gonna go with who deserves it more, as opposed to who is gonna get it, it has to be Bol Bol. I think Bol Bol is the most improved, but that's not gonna happen. Shea is 100% the most improved player.
That's a new name that we haven't really been talking about is Bol Bol, how good he's playing for the Magic this year.
Yeah, he's been great. The fact he's starting already is crazy.
And now we're wheeling it up. The Coach of the Year. Pull up the Mike Brown highlights
Brown,
that
what a
Cameron
take.
did. This is actually one of the funniest things I have seen. I gave out a couple highlight assignments, and
he didn't realize
without
until he did
knowing,
it.
I forgot that Coach of the Year. It's really hard to put up Coach of the Year, but Cameron somehow found a Mike Brown Coach of the Year highlight.
Look at him, man. Look at him run. It's first year Sacramento. He's running.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Look at the speed.
Look at the speed. It's really hard to enter a team that has as much failure as the Sacramento Kings have had in the past ever, and be able to change the dynamic and be able to change the culture. You see him right there. He's arguing after the foul.
He's riled up.
I love this one right here. You see Terrence Davis, number 3, a little bit too far down in the restricted area. And that allows DeAndre Ayton to get the bucket. He calls a timeout and he brings him over. He says, hey, stand here, draw the charge, draw the contact, don't stand there. And the very next thing he does, he steps up, he draws the charge. And I want you to look at Mike Brown on the very top in slow motion. He is jumping around, he is happy. It's a culture change in Sacramento. They're the 5 seed. I don't necessarily expect him to win, but I think that if you're gonna take a perennial loser, the basement, the joke of the NBA, and turn them into a 5 seed at minimum, you have to have some credit because they're the Kings. They get laughed at more than the Magic, and they get laughed at more than the Magic and the Timberwolves. That is very difficult.
And Ezra, now you pick the boring pick.
Yeah,
you know?
So I would like to say this. Like you said, for Benedict Mathurin, you're just kind of playing devil's advocate. I'm also playing devil's advocate. I wanted Mike Brown as my head coach of the year, but Joe Mazzulla is most likely going to get it. He's leading the best team in the league. They're a 28-12 record. They have the highest offensive rating in the NBA total. They're 10th in total points per game. They're 5th in the league in total threes in a game, and he has 2 players in the top 15 in points per game this season. Not to mention they're still top 15 defense in the league without their best defensive player for the entire first half of the season, and Robert Williams. So I think to be able to do that, step into a position where Ime Udoka, we know what happened with him, to be able to step into his shoes and fill them perfect, almost better than what he did last season, especially in the beginning.
It was pretty much last minute too.
Yeah.
It was very low, like not much rev time. He didn't have training camp with the team. He kind of just stepped in and was like, all right, Jason Tatum, you're gonna ball now.
Yeah, and that's something that's not really talked about either. You know, the coaching switch for the Celtics and how they're able to still produce success from it. Now we have to, just like the NFL, we got to talk about the playoff picture for the NBA. If the season ended today type beat. I know it's early and it's a lot before the All-Star break, and a lot of these teams it's going to be probably switched. Like, let's be real. But we still, we want to have fun here. So we're going to talk a little bit more about it. And first off, I want to know your guys' both picks for who do you think is going to top the division, because I know that the Jazz aren't.
Are you sure?
Say it here now.
I needed a controversial take, okay? Like I needed something to be like, what's going on here? But you, Cameron, I'm going to have you. Who do you think is going to win the West?
It's Denver. Wait, win or be the number 1 seed in the regular season?
Number one, yeah.
Denver. I think that Jokic, Michael Porter Jr. having a working spine helps. Jamal Murray not having half a knee helps. I think that Jokic is that guy, plus he has the supporting cast back.
And now to you, Ezra.
I did just talk about, are we talking about the West still?
Yeah, I want to hear your take, because if you say the Jazz, I'll be happy.
Oh, absolutely not.
I'm not going to hear that. Yeah, you're a sad boy right now.
It's gonna be a dogfight, but I have to agree with Cameron. I am also gonna go with the Nuggets. They are finally filling a full team. Mike Malone might even win Coach of the Year this season. Like, I know I just picked Joe Mazzulla, but he's also gonna be in the running because of how good they've been.
And then quickly, just to the East, who do you think is gonna win the East? Both
Milwaukee.
of you. Milwaukee?
Milwaukee.
Boston.
I'm about to say, I
Giannis
feel like
is the
you
best.
want Boston.
Giannis is the,
I don't want
He doesn't
Boston.
want Boston, but he has the MVP and the
knows.
Coach of the Year both with Boston.
Yeah,
that
it
makes
has to
sense.
be.
But Milwaukee has the best player in the league, and Giannis, I don't care.
I agree
Debatable.
with that. I think Giannis is the best
He's a
player
top
in the
3
league.
defender. He's a top 3
I
offensive
mean-
threat. He's
So
the
is
best
Jason
player in the league.
Tatum. I'd argue.
Debatable top 3
Yeah.
defense, but that's a topic for another
He's
day.
top 5 defense at least, I would
Top
say.
3. Okay.
Yeah, I'll argue that.
Well,
fair.
that has been all for the NBA today, and we will be right back with a little special segment for you guys. So stick around. You don't want to miss it.
Cowboys versus Giants. Why? Because I am a New York Giants fan, and I want my first pick of the week to be my team. I see an upset for the New York Giants this Sunday. Bet your entire savings, and I'm telling you right now, they're gonna win. I don't care what you say. It's gonna happen.
I have to go with the Raiders, I think, for this one. I don't see them losing.
Welcome back. It is now time for our primetime picks of the week, the best segment. I'm currently doing awful, standing at 16-10, Oklahoma State and Texas. I'm going Texas 35-27.
All right, Jeff, don't tell me your winner, but who is going to the Super Bowl?
The New England Patriots.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God.
And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
God.
The
Oh
NFL
my
is
God.
the NFL is gonna make it happen.
Welcome back. And as the new year begins, 2022 ends, but I think we've missed a few things. We haven't got all the sporting things, all the sporting highlights that we needed. So I think it's time. It's time for what you've missed. These are the top 5 plays, with an honorable mention, the top 5 plays that we've all missed from hitting the field. You know, we haven't been on for most of the month of December, so I think it's time to kind of show off a little bit here. So for my number 5 play, it's going to have to be Luka Doncic, 60-point triple-double, and I mean, it's going to have to be a little bit of the sealer here. And going right next, Scotty Barnes' dunk all over my Chicago Bulls. I'm sad. I'm hurt. I'm sad. Aaron Gordon, I mean, look at that. That is a crazy, can we take a moment there? Just take a moment. Just take a moment. Look what he just did. Can we realize this man, Aaron Gordon, who's been snubbed of multiple dunk contests, and now, talking about snubs, guys, I don't want to block it too much, but, I mean, come on. Justin Jefferson, what even is that? A one-handed catch? Odell who? And that's to you, Ray. I'm sorry. Get the Giants out of here. That's gross. That's gross. Ugh. For this next one, guys, it's tough. You know, my Bears are more so kind of battling right now. You know, the Bears got the number 1 pick in the draft. So I was going to do a Bears highlight, but that's just a flash. That's just a teaser. You know, I have to include something with the Bears. It's going to be part of my show every time, something with Chicago. But for the number 1 highlight, it's going to have to be Lionel in Gala Messi winning the World Cup. And we don't have it for copyright. So that highlight's gone. But, you know, him winning the World Cup, the game, if you want to hear about the game or anything with it, watch Combine. Shout out you, Cameron. But that's going to wrap it up for today on Hitting the Field. Lionel Messi, GOAT of all time. And that's been Hitting the Field. My first show as host. I just want to say thank you for watching and tune in for more. And yeah, that's it.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated chance, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back, okay? Always locked in, now I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000 when you check the stats. Boy, is you ready? You ain't gotta ask.